I just want to ask you about assisted suicide. Did you and Judy write about this? Why did this make the
we gave
news?
an
Where did
interview
it
to a
come
friend
from?
of ours on the Telegraph, and as part of a conversation like this, we talked about what would happen if we got to a point, one of us in our lives, where we were clearly about to die and we were in agony, and we asked the other person to help them over the stile, as it were. And we both said, well, obviously, in those circumstances, we would, of course, help the other one and take the consequences.
Yes, if it was illegal.
Well, it is illegal.
It is illegal.
It is
If it was
illegal
illegal at that point, I mean, you would still...
of course, and take the consequences. I mean, I said something like, and if it was Judy and she was in absolute agony and she was clearly absolutely terminal and didn't have much longer, and she wanted me to, of course I'd help her over the stile. Doctors have been doing it for centuries. And that turned into Richard and Judy's suicide pact. Like we were sort of, that was the headline, Richard and Judy's, like we were going to drive down to Beachy Head, hold hands and jump off the cliff. That was ridiculous. But no, that's all we said.
Do you support the bill then, the assisted dying bill? That is,
in principle, yes. I think it's a little bit clumsy here and there, but I think that it's only enshrining, and it's full of caveats and areas that would stop it being abused, I think. And it needs to be very closely looked at. But I think it's only putting into law what happens anyway.
It's quite hard, isn't it? I suppose if somebody happened to be going through a bout of depression at the point at which they took that... the point at which they took that decision. So they're both terminally ill and they're going through a bout of depression. Would they be in the right place to make that decision?
Perfectly good question, and I think you'd have to judge that there and then at the time. And if I thought, for example, that Judy was going through a period of depression as well as being very ill and in pain, then I would clearly take that into account, and as she would with me. So it would be a very graded decision. But it does happen, and 80%, they did an opinion poll off the back of that exaggerated article, and 80% of people in this country would do the same. So, I mean, it's hardly... I think we're pushing at an open door.